Can they hear me? They hear me live out there. Next beat. That ain't the beat I wanted to.
Those was wood
another
beats
beat.
right
Another
there.
beat.
You know?
Nope. Give me another beat. Give me another beat. Nope. That's not it. That's the beat. Turn it up.
Oh, word.
Turn it up. I gotta hear it a little louder. Can you make it louder than my headphones? Turn me up in my headphones. I'm still stuck in the 80s/90s. Lottos, kangaroo boots, nanny ghosts, Velas, jumpsuits and troops, Junos, color Levi's, Bugs Bunny sweaters with the rhinestone ring on it. Fighting and making up the next day. Nobody getting shot. Working to hustle and to get it, a get got. We had love for the streets, our family, our foes, our friends. Respect for the elderly. Pager/payphone, sneaking into Adams Theater. Watching Crush grooving tougher than leather. Hopping gates out the college port to bank out, cause you don't want to get caught at mom's crib or at Vaughn's crib. Eating funny dinner with the fam. Church every Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m. And even if I fell asleep in the back row or played sick, no matter what, man, I still had to go. 80s, baby. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. 80s, baby.
Good evening, folks. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the XCast, webisode number 80, that is, of the XCast. It's day 5057 in the search for Tim Chevelday. I'm your host, Josh Houselander. With me, as always, the master and commander of the ever-growing empire that is theempiremedia.com, Adam Hernandez.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, Adam?
Good. I was thinking maybe we should go on at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.?
Yeah.
Oh, to go along with the song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go on at, at 8 a.m.?
Yep.
Every Tuesday
Show
morning.
every Tuesday, every
Tuesday morning.
8 a.m.
Yeah, DJ
Yeah.
and the rapper.
We are going to have Khalil on the show again soon. He's putting some finishing touches on his record, and I actually can't wait to have him on.
Yeah, I can't wait to have him in too.
But he's not quite ready.
That's
so
cool.
we're gonna have some fun when he comes on. But let's jump right into it, Adam. Hopefully you guys just tuned in with us to The Loud State, if you're a music fan. It was a fun show, so we're going to jump right into this one, and not do a super long show for you tonight on the XCast. But main topic for tonight, Barbara Bush passed away at age 92 on the 17th. So, 7 days ago, a week ago.
Happened quick too. Because right before she died, we learned that she was foregoing any further treatment for her ailments, and behold, the next day she passed.
Yeah, she did. But she passed with her family, and it sounds like she had a bourbon in her hand, and had her family around her. So I like Barbara Bush. I think she's a cool lady, and I think she deserves respect. Unfortunately, George, her husband, is hospitalized currently as well.
Yep, has a blood infection.
Yeah, and not looking great for him. Although he is stabilized, and they are saying he's accepting treatment. So
yeah, it does sound, Josh, like he's going to be able to recover from this. Because I know when they say you're in your 90s. You have something like this that you usually don't fully recover. But it sounds like this particular ailment, this blood infection that he has, is something that he can recover from. And it sounds like they expect that he will recover from it, which is good news.
Yeah, how much time will that buy him? We don't know. He's 93 years old.
93 years old.
Right now, at 93, he is the oldest living president of all time. This is kind of interesting, that he is... he broke Gerald Ford's record for oldest living president. Gerald Ford broke Ronald Reagan's record for oldest living president. So it kind of seems like, oh well, yeah, they break it every couple of years, and that is the case now. But that's weird because before Ronald Reagan, the oldest living president was John Adams, the second president. So John Adams held that record from number 2 to number 40. And
it's a long time.
Yeah, and then 40, 41, or 40, 38, and 41, then break it right away.
Those guys, and I was going to say those guys, those presidents, Ford, Reagan, and H.W. were obviously, they're right there, right in the vicinity of each other, because it went Ford, Reagan, and then Bush.
Carter's in between.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carter.
Carter's in between Ford and Reagan. Yeah. And if George W. passes before Carter and Carter lives, I think he's only 5 or 6 months younger than it. So if that happens, then we could potentially see Carter jump into this mix as well for oldest living president. So they're all up there. They seem to be hitting their 90s now, so good for them. God bless them. Donald Trump, our current president, was.
What do you? Oh, hold on one sec. How do you think Bill's gonna be like when he's 90?
I don't know. You know what, man? I don't know that Bill's gonna hit 90.
You don't think he's gonna hit
No,
90? You think Hillary's gonna? Think Hillary's gonna kill him?
No. He's had a lot of health problems.
Yeah, he does. It seems like he's healthier though now. I mean,
Yeah.
he had those heart problems before, but it seems like he's pretty much
He's
recovered
skinnier now.
Yeah.
Than he was when he was president.
Uh-huh.
Hey, anything can happen. You
Yeah.
you don't know, but no, I don't. I mean, and hey, Clinton has the potential to be a very long-lived president because he was one of the youngest presidents, third youngest president ever.
Same with Obama.
Yeah,
Obama seems like he could be one of those guys.
right, and Obama was always a healthy guy and in good shape.
He
So
did
was
smoke.
George.
He did smoke though.
Yeah,
did
W
smoke.
was always a
Yeah.
healthy guy in good shape.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think W's gonna.
But
gonna
he
have.
was. They were a good 10 years older than Clinton though, when they took office.
W was, yeah, I think so.
Obama was in his 50s, wasn't he?
No, Obama was in his 40s.
Was he in his
Yeah,
40s?
he's in his
Okay.
40s when he took office.
Okay, late
Mhm.
40s probably. It's what Clinton was 43, wasn't he?
I think Obama was younger than Clinton when he took office.
No,
No?
definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Clinton is the second youngest president ever elected, third youngest president to take office.
Who's the youngest?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy
was
Roosevelt.
the youngest. But he took over when McKinley was killed.
Okay.
So the youngest president elected is JFK
Okay.
because Teddy is elected VP. He serves his 3 years, and then when he's elected the next time, he's older than JFK.
I don't know if I asked you this or not, but did you see any of that documentary on CNN, the Kennedys?
No, I did not.
You got to watch it
Really?
sometime. It is very nothing sugar coated in there either. I mean, it seems like they tell it pretty much, like it is. Of the whole thing with Joe Kennedy and the mom just kind of stepping
off.
back,
Yeah.
backing off, and doing what whatever it is that he wanted to do, and basically how Joe Kennedy paid John Kennedy's way into politics.
Yeah.
But it's very, very good. Very, very good. I think you would enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I'll check it out. I heard the Chappaquiddick thing was actually kind of decent too.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see it
Yeah,
either.
I didn't see that.
But I heard it was good. It was good. Kind of. And I actually heard it was kind of good from Republicans and from Democrats. Because that's the way things are now. Things are so polarized that you hear that something about politics is good, and you're like, oh, is it good because it agrees with your side, or is it good because it's good?
Hey, I don't like Trump, but I can only imagine the specials and the documentaries that are going to be coming out after his presidency are going to be damn good.
Yeah, they'll be entertaining.
Oh, absolutely.
That's for sure. But Trump was a no-show to Barbara Bush's funeral. They say he called George and said he thought it would be too big of a spectacle to be there. I think it's bullshit.
Is that kind of
really
arrogant to say?
It is. It is. You're the president and a former first lady dies. You should be there. I'm sorry. You should be there. I don't see this. I know people say, "Oh no, he was trying to do the right thing by not, making a spectacle of it." It's like, well, sorry that your presidency is such a spectacle, but you're still the president. You should. I don't buy it. I think it's crap, and I really do. This was a big hit on Trump for me for him not showing up. I know he has problems with the Bush family. I know that I know there's issues. You're kind of supposed that's what being presidential is all about. A big knock on Trump is that he's not presidential, and I think it's a legitimate one. I think he's not presidential, and I think
that's not a good thing.
No,
that's not a good thing, because I know a lot of people try to play that off as like, yeah, he's not presidential, he's not a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's necessarily, especially under this set of circumstances. It's not a good thing, and I know people like to accuse other people of nitpicking, but even in his tweet, he seems very insincere about the former first lady passing, talking about, oh yeah, Melania Trump's going to go and represent us, heading down to the Southern White House to first of all, it's not the Southern White House. There's no Southern White House. There's only one White House. It's in Washington, D.C. That's what the taxpayers pay for. Don't refer to Mar-a-Lago, your private country club that people have to pay a shit ton of money to get membership to, as a public place that will house the President of the United States. Don't refer to that, jackass.
Another thing too, Adam, is Trump's been criticized a lot for playing a lot of golf while he's president. I don't actually care about that much. And if you recall, I said the same thing about Barack Obama. Trump plays a lot of golf as president. Obama played a lot of golf as president. Listen, people, don't be dumb. They're not working when they're playing golf. They really do get a lot of work done while they're playing golf. But, listen, you're being criticized for playing golf. You're skipping a funeral to play golf.
That's what he said. He's
come on, don't play golf when a funeral that you should be at is going on. I don't care if you're working. I'm sorry. A former first lady dying is kind of a drop everything and go to the funeral moment. It really is. I don't care if Vladimir Putin's coming in. You say, hey, first lady died. I gotta, go to the funeral.
Hang out at the hotel for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Right. Like, I'm sorry, it happens. So I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I think it's very disrespectful. And I can't stand it. But hey, I know that the Trump people are gonna double down on this and say it was the right move and screw Barbara Bush, because I don't know, man. Listen, if you respect the country, you got to kind of respect the whole thing, and these are the moments when you have to just kind of put class first and just do what's right. If you had an issue with somebody, you had an issue with a former family that was big in the presidencies, like the Bush family was.
Yeah. You
had an issue with them. That's more reason why you, as president, have to go to the
should funeral. Be there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Why you should be there to pay your respects at that point.
Josh, when it comes to something like this, should he have been there? Yeah, absolutely, should have been there. Is this something that is this? This isn't something I'm at all surprised about. Namely, because I think Trump is a coward. I think Trump is an absolute coward when it comes to these sort of things. Because why didn't he want to be there? Why wasn't he there? Because A, he wasn't forced to be there. Mm-hmm. And two, he is cowering away from a face-to-face with the Bush family. Mm-hmm. And potentially a face-to-face with his other political rivals. I
think it's he just can't stand to be in a room where he's not the center of it.
Where he's not exactly. He's afraid. He's afraid to go and go face to face with the Bush family and the Obamas and the Clintons, and he's not going to be the center of attention. Mm-hmm. This is something that isn't about him. This is something that is about obviously celebrating the life of a former first lady and Barbara Bush, and it's not about Donald Trump.
No, it's not.
And I'm not surprised by it. I think that if I expected something like this to happen with him, just because I think he is a coward. And you're right. People aren't going to hold this against him. Well, his base, his supporters, they're not going to hold this against him. This is, and like you said, this is something that they're gonna pass off as him doing the right thing. Oh, it's great that he didn't want to go out down there and be the center of attention. But you know what? Even when he goes and does that, he knows what he's doing. Even with him not being there, he is the center of attention at some point.
Right.
Because, the president of the United States isn't at a former first lady's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, and hey, I'll make a bigger deal out of it than it is. Is this a huge deal? No, it's not. It's not a huge deal, and people can say that, oh, Josh and Adam are just anti-Trump and they're nitpicking now. And is this nitpicky? I don't know. Maybe, but I think it's right. I think it's true. I'm not pretending like this is why Donald Trump is a failed president. No, I'm not saying that, but he should have been there. Jimmy Carter should have been there too.
The thing is,
not anywhere near as big a deal, but
I will say this, Josh. I would, and this is why I'm kind of giving Jimmy Carter a pass, because he was out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
If Trump was out of the country, that's something I personally could give a pass on. Okay, he's out of the country. Obviously, he's not gonna. I don't expect him to come back and wait out Barbara Bush's last days here in the United States. Just so they can go to the funeral.
But when you're a person of that power, you hop a plane. You can just do it. It actually is that easy.
Like I said, I could understand there being some circumstances where that may not be possible.
Right. No, I know what you're saying.
You are
right.
But he was in the country though. He was going down to Florida to his country club.
Yeah.
You couldn't go tell the Air Force One pilot to, hey, let's go ahead and go to Houston.
Of course he could. He's the president.
Yeah, he's the president.
He can do whatever he wants. And hey, I'm all for when people say, oh, all Trump does is play golf. Cut it out. Do I believe that Trump does work on the golf course? Yeah, I do. That's how a lot of presidents work, They do it. But know what? If you can work on a golf course, you can work at a funeral too. You can.
I think you need to work at a funeral.
Yeah, no, I mean, but and that is working.
Even if you are the president,
you can take an hour or whatever it is, 2-3 hours, and fix it. And if there's a briefing, just like when you're on the golf course, if something happens overseas that needs the president's attention, there's people there who get him the information immediately, and the same as if he's at a funeral. You're still the president, and if Iran bombs Iraq, they can still tell you.
Well, so another matter. Bush. I mean, when 9/11 happened, Bush. How long was he in that classroom for? With the little kids, which was, I know people give Bush shit for this, but what's George Bush gonna do right then and there at that particular time? Is he gonna jump up and scare the shit out of those kids and
Yeah, I was
start going nuts over what's going on?
He was an ex-fighter pilot. He was supposed to like Independence Day style.
Yeah,
he was supposed to get in a jet and go fight him.
Yeah, what's gonna happen right then and there?
Right.
Is George Bush gonna go and
right?
Is he gonna go fight the aliens, and is he gonna go get on board with Will Smith and go?
I'm a combat pilot. I belong in the air.
Love that movie though.
I do too.
Did you see this new one yet?
No, I still haven't seen it.
Don't see it.
Yeah, I've heard it's bad. Hey, so Barbara Bush though, a unique figure in history, the first person ever to see both her husband and her son become president of the United States.
Almost swung.
Abigail Adams had that as well, but I said Barbara Bush is the first person to see it because Abigail Adams died before John Quincy became president. So she was the first woman to ever actually witness this happen.
She had a son that was a governor as well. 2 sons that were governors, obviously. So
yeah. No, Jeb, was governor of Florida and ran for president.
Ran for president. Mm-hmm. Yep. If he had a little more energy, maybe he could have become president.
Hey, Abigail Adams had another son that ran for president.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Charles Adams.
Who did he lose to?
He was running.
He was a primary.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a primary back then, but he was running, and then eventually became the running mate of Martin Van Buren.
Okay.
But it never happened. But,
okay.
So he did have some, he had some political hopes as well.
She had kind of, I mean, obviously she was a former second lady, former first lady,
right?
Mother of a, I was going to say first mother, if that's even a thing. She held a lot of different titles from her spot.
Her things she did with literacy were big. That was a big thing.
Yeah, I remember those, and that's something that obviously first ladies, each first lady has their cause. It seems like, Michelle Obama's was childhood obesity. Barbara Bush's was literacy.
Yeah, and which spawned from her son Neil.
Being a dyslexic. Yep. Yeah. I can't remember Hillary's or Laura Bush's. Do you remember Laura Bush's?
No, Hillary was healthcare.
Oh yeah,
Laura Bush, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember hers either.
I'm not recalling what her big thing was. But of those first lady things, and some of them have been good. Barbara Bush's literacy achievements have actually been pretty hailed, and those foundations are still going. So kind of a big deal. 4 sons, 2 daughters. The one daughter died young.
Robin,
young. Yep, Robin died very young. The rest of the kids are all alive. The daughter Robin died actually right after Jeb was born, I believe.
Yeah, she was 3, I believe, when she passed. I believe she had leukemia. Yeah, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah. That was supposed to be pretty devastating, and she actually had, between that and her mom dying in a car crash, Barbara Bush actually had admitted she had some big time bouts with depression, and helped in that cause as well.
Understandably,
right,
having to deal with something like that after something as tragic as that.
Yeah,
they said that's when her hair started to turn white too.
Yeah, they do say her hair turned prematurely white.
Yeah, because of everything that happened earlier on in her life.
And that was the joke at when George Bush Sr. was running for president. That was the joke that she looked so much older than him. That was all over Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, she did.
And everything. That she they kept asking her about her son. Saturday Night Live. I guess one of the questions I have is, I know they're still going to be around doing little things. Some of W's daughters have TV spots and things like that. But have we seen the last of the Bush family?
In politics, or just in general?
In politics, especially in big time politics. Are we? I don't. At this point, I don't think we're going to see another President Bush.
No, probably not. I don't know. The Republican Party, I don't know what it's going to look like, going forward from here. I don't know if there is a place for the Bushes in potentially a new Republican Party. I hate using...
Jeb's son George, other George P. Bush, was a big name for a while, and he's still a pretty young man and has definitely had political hopes. Big amongst Hispanic voters as well, because he's half Hispanic.
Yeah, and that's something that seems like
Spanish, and
if I remember correctly, W did well with the Hispanic vote as well. So I wouldn't rule it out of the realm of possibility, Josh. It just seems like right now the Republican Party is just so up in the air in terms of where it's going to be going. During and post Donald Trump. I personally think that it's probably going to go back to what it was before Donald Trump came into the picture here. But even so, I think we're at a point in time right now where the party's probably going to move away from having another Bush in office. And I agree with you. I don't think we'll ever see another Bush take as high as an office as President of the United States is.
Yeah, I think we are kind of seeing they'll be around, and they're a classic American family like the Kennedys, But I do think the Bush's day is kind of probably come and gone. For the most
Barbara
part.
said it too. Even when Jeb was getting ready to go in, she said, and I'm paraphrasing, that she thought maybe it was time for somebody else to to be president, and.
And she basically said there's, I'm sure there's a lot of other great families out there.
Yeah,
too,
and I mean she's right. I don't necessarily think that. I mean, obviously it's the will of the people. If they want another Bush, then another Bush will become president if they decide to run. But obviously you can see what Barbara Bush, her point in what she said when she conveyed that out to everybody in Jeb's in the earlier days of Jeb Bush's candidacy this last time around.
Adam, I have a kind of a weird question that I want to throw out to you and I for discussion, but how do we hear, I'm going to name two shows that we do because we're on both of them, but how do we here at the X-Cast and at Deep Issues feel about the Bush family? Because I kind of like the Bush family. I do. I think they're kind of a fun family to study, and I think for the most part that even if you disagree with them, that they were just kind of an honorable family. But on Deep Issues and on the X-Cast, we've talked about a lot of conspiracy theories over the years. We've talked about a lot of things, and some
with HW.
Yeah, but some of these ideas, and Prescott Bush, his then Barbara's father-in-law, some of these things, if they're true...
Wait, who stole the skull, Adriano? Was it Prescott or HW?
I think it was Prescott.
Was it Prescott?
I think. But...
I love that.
Yeah, but some of these ideas are...
Skull and Bones, right?
Yeah. The Skull and Bones and the link to Kennedy's assassination, and
that's what I'm wondering. Is
the potential link to indirect link to the Nazi Party before World War II, and some of these kind of unproven conspiracy theories, and Bush being involved with the CIA, 9/11 potentially being an inside job.
Well, if Ed was here, he'd be all over that one.
Right. So, I mean, if some of these conspiracy theories are true that we have presented for discussion or for talk here, then maybe the Bushes aren't such nice people. But even though I'm this, kind of anti-government, anti-statism, pro-conspiracy kind of guy, I like the Bushes. I think they're kind of cool people, and I like seeing them, and I think they're classy. I just think they're classy people. So I'll admit I'm kind of torn on this though, because some of the things that I've presented in the past, I feel like I then ignore when it comes time to, let's honor the presidents, let's honor these people, let's honor the first ladies, let's honor the families, the great families that have led our nation. But I go back and forth on some of that though. Do you kind of know what I'm saying? With
I do. I don't. For me with the Bushes, I was too young when HW was in office. I mean, when he left office in 92.
You were 9 years old,
something like that. Yeah. So I mean, I remember his presidency. I was too young though to form any type of opinion on him. I will say though that I voted for him in my kindergarten election in the '88 between him and Dukakis.
I voted for him in both my mock elections when I was. He would have been. I'd have been 12 when he left. So I'd have been 8 when he ran the first time, and I still wanted him to win in against Clinton when I was 12.
Okay. I mean,
although I was a Ross Perot fan.
Oh, were you?
I was, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's maybe I would have had more of an opinion on him if he was around for a second term, which I still believe Ross Perot was one of the main contributing factors as to why HW didn't get a second term. I don't want to take anything away from Clinton too.
Right.
I think,
no, I'm not. I know Bill Clinton was very eloquent.
He's young.
Won over the people. He was young, idealistic, and good looking, and won over the people. But
percentages.
Yeah, I mean, truth is, he got 41% in that election, and there was two people from Texas running on the ballot who got 55% of the votes.
That's why the Democratic Party and a lot of the mainstream left had such a problem when Ralph Nader would run, just because it's stealing the votes,
right?
And, even this past
Pat Buchanan was there as well, stealing votes, but Pat Buchanan and Ralph Nader never got anywhere near.
Now with Ross Perot.
Yeah, not Ross Perot numbers.
Ross Perot was could you say he was like the last legitimate third party candidate?
18.9%.
Yeah.
That's he basically got a fifth of the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's a big deal. Although 0 electoral votes.
Yeah.
Ross Perot took 0 states in both times he ran.
Like I said, I really wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan at all of W. That kind of became the George W was the punching bag of for the left. But I'll tell you what, with Donald Trump in office, when you look back at what George W was, I think people can, whether you're on the left or you're on the right, and I don't want to say if you're a reasonable person, because I know some people out there that voted for Donald Trump that are good people. I think that there's maybe a somewhat of an appreciation for a guy like W. Maybe him being a statesman, a true statesman. And I think you can see that with a lot of things. I think people can look at it both ways. Whether you didn't like George W. Bush then, and have a different feeling about him now, or if you didn't like Barack Obama then but have a different feeling about him now, I think Donald Trump maybe is, I don't want to say changed minds, but give it somewhat of a different outlook. Maybe gave a new appreciation for political candidates out there that had more of a stable, reasonable head on their shoulders that wasn't an embarrassment.
Yeah, listen, I don't agree with everything the Bush family ever did or ever stood for. I think the Patriot Act is one of the worst things that's happened in my lifetime. And that happened under W's administration. But listen, I've seen, through my early voting years, this is what I've gone through, and I've seen the polarization of this country. And I will say this, I know you're a fan of his, Adam, but I saw the polarization of this country under Barack Obama. And then I saw the antithesis of Barack Obama, which was Donald Trump, which has hit even harder, than all of that. And give me the Bushes, man. I'll take the Bush family back anytime now. Give me 100-year-old George H.W. Give me W. Give me Jeb. Give me George P. Give me Barbara. I don't care. I'll take
Billy. We take Billy.
I'll take Billy. Is it Billy?
Yeah, Billy Bush.
No, that's you're thinking of Jimmy Carter's brother.
No, Billy Bush, the Access Hollywood tape.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Oh, that's their. Who is that exactly?
He's a cousin.
He's their cousin.
Yeah, he's their cousin. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Neil and Martin are the other two.
I think so.
Are the lesser known Bush brothers.
I think so.
And then Doro, or her real name's Dorothy, is the sister.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. which is funny, it's like Neil and Martin. Oh yeah, they're like the loser brothers. They're like, multi-millionaire businessmen, and they've like had all these accomplishments that are huge, but they're like, oh yeah, the two Bush brothers that weren't governors.
I wonder if Billy Bush was at the funeral.
Oh, I'm sure he was. Yeah. I'm sure he was.
Another awkward encounter for Donald Trump.
Yeah, really.
Do you think it pissed him off though when he saw like Melania sitting there posing with the Bush family and Obama's and the Clintons and everything?
Well, and I did think it was kind of not classy for Hillary's people to instantly tweet that picture of of Melania, like, oh, we haven't seen her teeth in forever, because she's smiling.
But the picture with everybody, I'm talking about with him and HW as well.
Yeah, it's a super classy picture.
That was released by his office.
Right. No, that picture's great.
Yeah.
The other picture's great too. The only thing I thought was kind of classless was Hillary's people doing that, but no worse, in fact, not as bad as we were just talking about it before the show. Trump's guy talking, taking this opportunity.
Roger Stone.
Yeah, Roger Stone taking this opportunity to tweet about how he never liked Barbara Bush and she was
she's a drunk.
Yeah, she was a mean drunk.
Yeah.
Why? Why now? It's just classless. Totally classless. Probably not even true for one thing. No reports of that from anywhere of value. But yeah, no, that picture looks great. All of them, they're all posed together. And hey, this isn't a happy moment, but they're smiling, they're doing the right thing, taking the picture. But just strangely absent from this picture is Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump should be in that picture.
It seems like a perfect opportunity too, where you could just, like you said, put everything aside, just at least for one day, and
pose with crooked Hillary and.
I don't think he has one for Barack.
Yeah, does he have one for Barack? Does he have?
No.
I know he's had stupid names for the Bush family.
Yeah, I don't think he had one for W.
I'm not sure. But it's just I don't know. It's too bad. It is too bad if you ask me that. It's just state of things. But really, I'll say it as much as I. Criticize a lot of this time in that era, and when we're talking about some of the deeper, darker secrets of conspiracy or the United States, I'll take the Bushes back in a second. I really will.
Do you think HW spills the beans on Kennedy on his deathbed?
I was gonna ask you that, Adam. I was gonna ask you that. Yeah, I do. You think like it's gonna be like his last words, like this guy did it.
William Greer did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it would.
HW out, and then he just, and then that's when he flatlines.
Oh man, it would.
Well, even if that happens, nobody would hear anything about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You actually nailed it.
You know what I heard was cool though is that the Secret Service agents were with Barbara Bush like right until like the last. I mean, her last breath. I mean, that's cool.
Hey, this is something that is very true. The Secret Service agents love the Bush family.
Did they?
Yeah, they absolutely love them. There's been Secret Service guys who've come out and said some nasty things about Hillary. There's even a few of them said some kind of not so great things about Obama. But the Secret Service dudes, it sounds like the Bush family are just bros. It sounds like they dig them and they.
What their opinion was on Cheney, I'm probably sure they don't have a good opinion on Cheney.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I didn't see him. I'm sure he was at the funeral.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he was there too.
I don't recall seeing him there. Another thing about Barbara Bush too. One of the reasons why George W. was related to, they used to talk about how he was related to so many ex-presidents, more so than his dad, because Barbara was actually, her maiden name is Pierce. She was the, I want to say, great-granddaughter of Franklin Pierce.
Okay.
President of the United States. So that's why, H.W. was related indirectly or, to a bunch of presidents, but W is actually even more because Barbara was, he had that coming on his maternal side too.
That's cool.
So Franklin Pierce, 14th president of the United States, known as you usually consider one of the worst presidents ever.
Franklin Pierce.
Yeah.
Is he in your top 3 of worst presidents ever?
Yeah. Usually you have Buchanan. James Buchanan is way up there, and Franklin Pierce is right before, and they're president number 14 and 15.
Buchanan came after Lincoln, right?
No, right before.
Right before Lincoln.
Right before.
Okay,
and they're 14 and 15. So a lot of the events that lead up to the Civil War get pinned on these two.
Okay.
And basically,
and that's Buchanan's big one is essentially allowing the Civil War to happen.
Right. So and the thing is with them.
He's a Democrat too, wasn't he?
Yeah, they were both Democrats. They were kind of chosen as the country kind of thought, like, if we elect a Democrat who's not super pro-slavery, then maybe we can keep this thing together. And that's like Franklin Pierce, and even more so Buchanan were considered, like, they were kind of sort of anti-slavery Democrats. That they thought, like, okay, all right, just pick somebody that will hold this thing together, and wasn't the way it was going to hold together. Yeah. That's never a good way to do it. Just keep putting Scotch tape on this till it doesn't break. Is
because I know you're one that has rules on when you can start choosing best and worst presidents. Are we at a point right now where HW can be?
I think so.
Put into that mix.
Yeah, I think so. I think him and Clinton.
Him and Clinton?
Yeah.
So in
a lot of the lists I've seen, and I don't disagree with this, they're usually Clinton and HW are usually around. They're usually very close to each other, and they're usually around between 22 and 25.
Okay. So in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. Usually by historians, and most historians are, especially modern day historians, are on the left. Usually H.W. Bush is placed ahead of Clinton.
I've seen it. I've seen at some points where HW is put ahead of Clinton. I don't agree with that, but I've seen it a couple times.
H.W. Bush is, not that this is a huge group or whatever, but he's usually on the higher end of guys when they list best one-term presidents. HW is usually, in like 3 or 4.
See, that's such a. I mean, that's fine that you're ranking that. It just seems like it seems kind of a weird.
I mean, you got Polk and John Adams on that list, so they're typically your 1 and 2.
I don't know. It just seems like if you, aside if you're stepping down or you get assassinated or you die or whatever, I don't know. It just seems like if you were really truly making a good impact, that you would have been elected to a second term.
Yeah, but weird things do happen, like a third party runs.
Again, though, if you were,
oh, it's true.
If there was something in there that put you,
but hey, there's been
head shoulders above it.
There's been presidents that we know weren't great that won resounding
second terms.
And there's guys that were good, were very good presidents who didn't. I'm a Benjamin Harrison fan myself.
Where does Clinton rank for you?
Probably 28 to 30.
28 to 30?
Yeah, around that
Okay.
area. I feel like with Clinton too, and same with Andrew Johnson, I feel like that even if you kind of like you just said with the, hey, if they were really that good, would they have, they would have won.
Yeah.
They would have just won no matter what, And I agree with that. To me, like a one-termer, you can't put it, like you have to get knocked down a couple spots for being a one-termer. You have to get knocked down at least several spots for being impeached. Even if you think the impeachment maybe was crap, a great president wouldn't get impeached. Even
I'm gonna go by a case by case basis here.
Well, there's only 2.
What do you mean? There's only 2?
There's only 2 that have been impeached.
I know, but I'm saying I'm just saying a case by case basis. Whether it depends on what you're being impeached for.
It's just the people won't allow it to happen if they're truly that popular. The representatives just won't allow it. So I feel like you have to be knocked down a spot or 2.
Okay.
I mean,
those are your rules.
Yeah, and there are more guidelines and rules. They are.
Well, they're rules for you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I guess that's all a guideline is. It's just a rule for me. But
that's fair though for you. I mean, I thought you. I mean, I figured you would have them a little bit lower on your list, but that's fine.
No, I can definitely, I think rattle off. I'm not going to do that right now. Maybe on one of the history shows later that we do. But I could throw down 10 presidents who are worse than Bill Clinton.
They're worse than Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
give me one.
Harding.
Yeah.
Ulysses S. Grant.
You're related to.
I am related to him. I am, and he was a great man and a great general.
It's not a good president.
Crappy president. And that is a person who won 2 resounding terms, and actually one of the few people ever that ran for a 3rd term. Actually nominated by his party for an unprecedented 3rd term, and easily won the 2, and not a good president.
Was it Harding that was extremely corrupt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Franklin Pierce and Buchanan, again, definitely below. Then there's some other ones that it almost depends on the rankings of where you put them, because for instance, there's guys like Andrew Jackson, Woodrow Wilson, who I can't stand, and I think they did terrible things. But can you say they were unsuccessful presidents? Like, no, they set out to do that stuff and they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a kind of a strange criteria there.
I guess it's relative to
I mean, they, I think they were both kind of I mean, Woodrow Wilson, I think, was a racist bastard, and I think the things he put in motion have been terribly detrimental to this country. But hey, we won World War I, and he said he wanted to do those things, and he did them. So I don't know that you can say he's unsuccessful. That about ties it up. Anything else you want to say about the Bush family, about any of this other stuff?
No, just that I don't necessarily think that this was a sad thing that happened. Obviously, it's not.
I agree.
Deaths. I don't want to say are a good thing or a fun thing or anything like that, because they're not. A death it's a very somber time. But to say that it's sad, I mean, when somebody's in their 90s and they pass away, I don't think you could be completely sad about that. I think the right term and people have used is, they celebrate the life of that person, and I think that's something you could definitely do with somebody like Barbara Bush. Is
92 years old, 73 years of marriage.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, just
that's something else that bugged the shit out of me. Another Trump quote, when he was talking about it, he's like, "That's a record I won't be able to break." Come on, dude. Just
very true.
Yeah, very true. Just stop.
All 3 of his marriages put together will never equal 73 years.
No. But just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about you. Stop it.
At least he poked fun at himself, I
guess.
But
douchebag.
You ready to go around the empire with Adam Hernandez? Because I am.
Did you want to mention anything about the birth? Royal birth?
Not really. We can mention it, but we're going to talk about it next week on the best podcast in history. So we are going to discuss that next week with our royal family expert, Tiffany Forisi. But yeah, hey, new baby in the royal family, who is what?
Third in line.
Fourth in line, right?
No, third.
Charles William.
Oh wait, sorry, Charles William. Yeah, fourth.
Yeah, fourth in line.
Yep.
But will probably never become king, or become monarch, because
No.
this child will be in the same position that Harry
Yeah,
has been
it'll
in
be
most of his life.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, George will.
Mm-hmm. Unless
be
George doesn't, if George doesn't have kids, then this new kid is gonna sit on the throne someday.
Which I'm sure they will.
Probably.
They always do.
Yeah, they're good at it.
But anyways, though, yeah. Let's see what we have. Let's see what we have going on here in around the Empire. A lot of the victims, unfortunately, are being identified in that attack in Toronto that happened yesterday. The Van attack in Toronto, I believe. What was it? 10 people were killed in the attack on Yonge Street, which is basically Toronto's. I know here in Detroit we have Woodward,
right?
That is their main.
One of the big stretches.
Yeah, that is their one big stretch there. Very, very cool stretch as well. But 10 people were killed in that attack. Some of the victims' names are coming out there: Anne-Marie Diamaco, Dorothy Sewell, Chul Min, Eddie Kang have all been identified as victims of Monday's van attack on Toronto's Yonge Street. And like I said before, a total of 10 people were killed during that attack. Again,
very tragic. I don't know what's going on in this world.
Nope.
Crazy stuff is happening like this.
NFL cheerleaders will settle discrimination suit for $1 if Roger Goodell agrees to meet. Former Saints cheerleader Bailey Davis was fired after posting a selfie that broke team rules. She, along with other cheerleaders, sued the league on the grounds that cheerleaders are held to a different standard than players because they are women. The women involved agreed to effectively drop the suit if the NFL commissioner agrees to a meeting with them to hear their concerns. Seems legitimate because it was actually Deadspin, I believe, that released a report a few years ago just talking about a bunch of the shit that the cheerleaders in the NFL have to deal with. I remember they posted a handbook that they got that just basically goes through saying what they can and cannot do.
It's like you're a 1920s school marm.
Yeah, and the cheerleaders they really don't get paid a lot of money to do what they do. And I know people will go ahead and say, well, find a different job, do this, do that. But I mean,
Adam, and I lean towards that too. Kind of hey, no, at the end of the day, it's still a pretty good gig. You signed up for it. A job's a job. You're allowed to get fired from a job. But with that being said, although that is how I feel for the most part, dumb is dumb. And if there's dumb rules, then maybe you should sit down and talk about them because it's dumb.
The way I feel about it is just because you have these rules set in place, you can go and say, well, if you want to do it, then if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. You don't have to sign up for it. In some sense, though, just because you have this position doesn't necessarily mean that that's an open door for you to be just completely and utterly sexist against someone. Obviously, I know there's certain,
and I don't know that that's necessarily true, but it could be true.
And again, I know there's or just be discriminatory or just have like a hostile work environment. Because it seems in some certain circumstances, what these NFL cheerleaders deal with are hostile work environments. I'm not saying with every team.
Well, crap, that it must be a hostile work environment. You have to be around NFL players, and as it comes to find out, they can be pretty dangerous to be around. I mean, I know I know I'm lumping them together. I know I'm being judgmental. I know, but let's make that little meme of me sitting at the table. NFL players are violent. Change my mind.
Can't do that because they've been proven before. Not all of them. Some of them have been proven to be violent. A conservative pundit called Melania Trump's state dinner menu frou-frou garbage. Conservative blogger and radio host Eric Erickson thought the First Lady's dinner choices were too pretentious and complicated. Others thought that was a stretch given the menu included dishes like jambalaya, lamb, and buttermilk biscuits. I don't know. That sounds
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm all about the buttermilk biscuits. I could pass on the jambalaya and the lamb, but
I'll take the jambalaya and the lamb.
Hey,
I want
again,
all that stuff,
yeah,
man.
I know
Put
a
your
lot of-
hands together. I want that. I want the frou-frou steak. I mean, to me, like I'm a meaty. I know you don't eat meat, Adam, but what about frou-frou steak doesn't sound good? That sounds awesome. I mean, if Melania Trump is picking the menu, I want some frou-frou steak on there and some jambalaya and some buttermilk biscuits and some lamb. Cook it up, man. Sounds good. It sounds like this guy's being a dope.
You never heard of Eric Erickson though?
I that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a. I don't know. I don't know where he is with all of this. He is kind of a dope. It seems like though.
It sounds like maybe he needs to stop hating and start participating.
Let's see what else we have here. Let's see. The memories of shopping at Abercrombie and Hollister still linger on. Were you ever a big Hollister or Abercrombie guy? No, I didn't think so. Dim lights, the smell, the $8 flannels. I'm shaking. Thanks to at Jacoby, former tweens and teens of the 2000 reminisce about shopping at Hollister and Abercrombie and Finch and the impact both brands had on that generation. Which they did. I'm not going to go ahead and say that wasn't the case when it comes to something like that. But I always thought Abercrombie and Hollister were both kind of lame.
Oh, I'm kind of that guy that hates everything, So I just always kind of thought, I just hate trendy crap. So I've never been somebody that wears like nice clothes or buys nice clothes or like I don't care. I pretty much dressed the same my entire life, and I don't have any desire to like buy $30 shirts and shit. I just don't. Not my thing.
No, I was never a fan. Actually, I used to get a bunch of shit in middle school because I was one of those guys that wasn't all about. Actually, I was very anti like brand, like big time branded stuff, like Nike. Fila was big at the time.
Yes.
Hugo Boss. Wasn't into it. Didn't like it. I used to get make fun of because of it.
Me and a couple of my buddies were like big time haters on this, and we used to refer to people because of the Nike swoosh. People that wore those kind of clothes, we used to call them swooshes.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just like big time haters, And I just wore like thrift store crap. But hey, I was a little bit older than you, and it was like cool to be grunge to some degree. So it was like cool to have that look, I mean, when I was in high school, man, I had hair down to my butt. I was like, I was like a faux like punk rocker kind of guy. So
yeah, that's what I was too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't have hair down to my ass like you did, but that's kind of how I was too. I was very anti that. I was anti that just because that was the mainstream stuff. That's not something that that Henry Rollins or Tim Armstrong or anything like that would be caught dead wearing. So
yeah, this may come as a surprise to listeners who listen to the show or to you, Adam. But when I was when I was younger, I was very anti-establishment.
Oh yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, where now I'm an old person who's very anti-establishment. So I actually haven't changed one bit.
Does that embarrass your kids at all?
I don't know that it embarrasses them, but they.
I know because your daughter's at the point right now where you can be embarrassing.
Oh,
towards
for sure.
Her. Are you embarrassing towards her?
I don't think I'm too bad. To some degree, I'm sure to some degree. I am a dad. I mean, so I'm gonna be to some degree, but they know how I am, and they know that. Sometimes I feel like they embrace it, and sometimes it's like.
Were you ever embarrassed by your parents at all?
Not that much. Sure, maybe on occasion. More so just when I was like getting in trouble or something. But I didn't get in that much trouble, and for the most part, I wasn't. Really.
Yeah, right.
I didn't get in that much trouble. Some.
I mean, I don't think your sister was embarrassed by your parents at all.
No, my sister was definitely the good and the smart one. I mean, that's for sure. That is for sure.
A lot of people, though, Josh, have problems with the way the new Venom looks.
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know. A lot of people. I'm going to show you a picture right now.
Okay.
Do you have a problem with the way that Venom looks?
No, that's how he looked in the comics.
You don't think it looks a little too
Too cartoony,
alienish or anything like that?
Oh, well, he is an alien, you know.
I know he is an alien. I know he is an alien.
I mean, you know it's how he looked in the comics, man.
This person says Venom's eyes look like the icing you put on a toaster strudel.
Hey, I can see what people mean, but then if he didn't look like that, there'd be people saying like, "Oh, he didn't look like that in the comics." I mean, that's how he looked in the comic books. He had a big tongue and big wide mouth, and the idea being that Eddie, you know, because the Venom suit is the same suit that Peter Parker wore when he was the black suit Spider-Man, which he did kind of then become a little edgier,
a little more
meaner.
anti-hero.
Yeah, but he was still a good guy, where Eddie Brock really embraces the symbiote and, you know, goes all out and goes like full on bad guy with it. So yeah, he gets uglier and grosser and more alien like.
Spider-Man's in the Avengers, isn't he?
Yeah, except I heard he's not in this new movie.
He's not gonna be the new movie
this in a couple days.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why he's not in the movie. I find that weird, actually.
Isn't Wolverine supposed to be in the Avengers too?
He was in the comics, yeah.
But he's not going to be in this one.
No.
So who's going to be in this one then? Hulk?
Oh, there's going to be like 60 plus characters in this one in Infinity War that comes out in a couple days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be all the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in it. Pretty much everybody that's been in all the movies, except I heard Spider-Man wasn't.
He's Wolverine.
Yeah, well, but Wolverine's never been in these movies so far because he's in the other Marvel universe.
God, Disney
with the
just
X-Men. I know. Just buy them out already.
Just buy everybody out like you've been doing,
right?
And just bring all of this together.
Yeah, you already took a flaming dump on Star Wars. You've done good with Marvel. Just buy everybody.
I say you get that extra step still and do a crossover.
Yeah,
Marvel and Star Wars.
Right. I want to see it. I want to see Avengers versus X-Men. Then I want to see Marvel versus DC. Then I want to see comic books versus Star Wars. I mean, Gandalf can be in it too. I don't care. Just throw him in, just randomly.
God, wouldn't that be the cherry though if Disney somehow buys DC?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna have like a congressional,
like Trustbuster?
Yeah.
Nerd attack Trustbuster.
Just imagine what Capitol Hill will look like at that point.
God.
All these fucking fanboys sitting up there talking about how Disney can't buy DC and Marvel at the same time.
Yeah, you are right though, Adam. Like Wolverine has been in the X-Men. He was in the Avengers. He was, he's been in both. So was Beast. Mm-hmm. Was in the Avengers. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who are in the Avengers in the movies, they're Magneto's kids.
Oh, Scarlet Witches.
Yeah, so like these characters they're totally related to this.
Love Quicksilver in the movies.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah,
he's the only dude I think who's been in both. He was in the Avengers version, and he was in the X-Men
version.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only dude who there actually was. They both use Quicksilver. I don't know how they pulled that off, because the idea is they're not allowed to use Wolverine because he's part of that, and then they can't use Deadpool. He's part of that whole different universe.
I love that.
But they're all Marvel though. In the comics, they're all the same. These guys like live down the street from each other.
Wouldn't it be awesome to see a Deadpool and Wolverine movie?
Yes.
Like an actual one, not that shitty one, not that Origins one that they came out with.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds basically begged Hugh Jackman to have a cameo, and one he says he's out.
That would be so awesome.
Right. I mean, in the comics, they were in each other's comics all the time.
Yeah.
And it was great because it was, the Deadpool thing's so tongue in cheek, and Deadpool was always just like Wolverine's bitch. Deadpool was like the toughest dude in the world throughout his entire comics, and Wolverine would be on one page and he'd cut his head off. Yeah, and it was great. It was great. It was like funny. I remember buying Deadpool comics. It says on the cover like Wolverine in this issue, but just one page. And he just like you could just show up and like just waste Deadpool.
Yeah, it's
he's good. It's good
I think,
stuff.
and they have such the perfect guys too. I mean, I thought Hugh Jackman as Wolverine was awesome.
Yeah,
It was awesome. There can never be another Wolverine ever.
Right.
And just like Ryan Reynolds continues to be
perfect.
perfect.
He was born for that role.
Yeah, he's born for it to be Deadpool.
Yeah. He's a totally goofy guy who tells dick and fart jokes and has a kick-ass six-pack. I mean, he is Deadpool. He was born for this role.
Yeah, I was watching that the other day.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. I love how they make fun of the whole situation they have there with the X-Men too. How they're only able to get 2 X-Men in it, and
this is the low-budget X-Men movie.
Yeah,
basically.
but I love the true to form Colossus they had in it though too.
Yeah, all of a sudden Colossus is is Russian.
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to
Like
be.
he's
Like
supposed
he
to
always
be,
was.
yeah.
He was.
And this the whole back and forth there too between him and Deadpool was great.
Yeah, no, those were cool movies, and Deadpool 2 should be cool. But yeah, these should be combined. You have this Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the X-Men, Deadpool, the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
These guys should be in there, man.
It's gonna happen one day. Disney's gonna buy.
Like in the comics, I believe the Fantastic Four technically were all also Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Fantastic Four were on their own, but they all technically were like card-carrying members of the Avengers.
Would that be the biggest thing in nerddom if Disney were to buy both Marvel and DC?
I think it might be, and quite frankly, as much as I don't like monopolies and I don't like big corporations taking over everything, but as a kid, I always wanted Marvel and DC to merge. I did.
And you have to admit at this point right now, it'd be
awesome.
It would be awesome.
I want to see the Hulk fight Superman on screen.
God.
It'd be awesome. It would rule.
Yeah.
I mean,
or just like the X-Men or the Avengers go up against the Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have like Marvel versus DC. They fight each other, but then they're all good guys. So then,
and then you have
they have to join forces.
Yeah, then you have the good guys, the good DC Marvel guys taking on the bad DC.
Whether it's Darkseid and Thanos or Darkseid and Galactus, or
oh my God, Darkseid and Galactus.
Yeah, when they tried to put Galactus in that one Fantastic Four movie, and it was such a oh my God, such a dumpster fire. Yeah, it was terrible.
Usually run into problems with that.
Yeah,
especially with the character like Galactus.
Yeah, so just throw out those Fantastic Four movies because they were absolutely.
Is there an equivalent to the Transformers in the DC?
No, but I mean, technically, the Transformers were part of Marvel for a while because Marvel did the Transformers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is there anybody in the DC universe that is equivalent to the Transformers in the Marvel universe?
Not really. I mean, there's the GoBots, but that wasn't really part of DC.
Yeah.
But, the Transformers weren't really part of Marvel either.
No.
They were, Marvel Comics made them for a while. And as I recall, in some of the Transformers comics, Spider-Man did, randomly appear.
Okay.
Yeah. But they weren't really technically part of that universe.
I guess Disney could buy Capcom and you can start putting, Mega Man.
Yeah, I mean, you could get... that'd be sweet. Yeah, I mean, but... Transformers, G.I. Joe, these things all kind of intertwined at some point.
Yeah.
They've had crossovers.
Oh,
they've had Marvel DC crossovers in comics, too, which were pretty cool.
Huh.
They had an amalgam universe for a little while, where the universes melded together, and they had, characters that were mixes of the two. The character called Dark Claw, which is Wolverine mixed with Batman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, some of them were actually kind of halfway cool characters. They actually kept those comics going for 6 months or a year.
They were getting Man-Bat too.
Yeah.
And was that Marvel?
Yeah, Man-Bat's in DC.
Oh, is it DC?
Yeah, that's a.
Oh yeah, that's DC. Yep.
Yeah, he fights Batman. Clever name. Oh, who should Batman's next villain be? Let's name him Man-Bat.
But he looked more like a bat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he totally was he was
a
mutant bat thing. goofy.
Man-Bat.
Yeah, but who doesn't want to see Batman fight Captain America? And
It'd be great.
you know, yeah, it'd be awesome.
Or Batman take on Iron Man or something.
Right. I mean, yeah, you know, watch Green Lantern fighting Silver Surfer. You know, we need to see this stuff.
Yeah.
This stuff needs to happen. Hey, when I was a kid, if you'd have told me that someday, you know, when you're 34 years old, they're gonna come out with an Ant-Man movie, I'd have said you're nuts. And they're coming out with Ant-Man 2, you know, next year. So hey, I'm glad that this stuff all came to fruition.
But
I remember back in the day, like you didn't tell people you read comic books. It wasn't cool to. Now being a nerd is cool.
do you feel a little like what the fuck about this?
I feel a little vindicated, and it actually makes me think, like, man, all those kids there's so many nerds out there, and everybody knows about this stuff, that all those kids I was hiding the fact that I read comic books, they were probably reading comic books at home too, because everybody obviously was reading them back then, because then we grew up and they're like, hey, let's make enormous blockbuster movies about
Comic books.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't tell people that I loved Star Wars and comic books. It was nerdy, man. You get beat up when I was a kid.
You want to get chicks.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't go up to some girl and be like, hey.
Yeah. Nowadays, the kids, you know...
Did you read the last Flash that came out?
Yeah, nowadays people come to school wearing a Thor shirt and come home with a broad. I don't know how this stuff works.
If that was the case, you would have had 10 kids by now.
Exactly. Yeah, imagine how many kids I'd have if I knew that was cool.
Well,
Jeez.
that's going to do it this week for the news, though, Jim.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the XCast. Hey, we got some really great stuff lined up for you on the XCast and on other shows. Next week, we have the XCast for you, but before that, we have the best podcast in history with me, Adam, Tiffany Farisi. It's going to be a great show. Really fun. Technically the inaugural episode of this show. We've had her on before and talked some stuff, but we're going to have that on next week. 2 weeks after that, we got Deep Issues with the Bermuda Triangle, and we got some other great stuff lined up coming up. So, please stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in tonight.
See you guys.